Hey YouTube, Kira Qualia here, bringing you all my Thegrea Cardfight Vanguard Overdress deck profile for June 2022. This is one of the new decks that was released in the latest booster pack, Triumphant Return of the Brave Heroes. This is the Keter Sanctuary deck that focuses on using the two different forms of Thegrea for the different options of having the other in the soul to utilize for the different card abilities. Another big thing that's come out of this deck is obviously the lewdness of this deck. Probably one of the most fan service decks in all of Vanguard, if not the most fan service deck, just for the main unit Thegrea herself. But still a very awesome deck for its playstyle. Doesn't really focus as much as the grade 3 lineup as a lot of the other focus followed, decks like Bastion and just that main setup. It follows more into a retire playstyle and call unit playstyle depending on which Thegrea you have, the light or dark one on your Vanguard circle. So let's go ahead and get started with the deck profile. So we'll go ahead and we will start off with the ride deck with our starter. Just like the Roroa ride line, it focuses on having Thegrea for all 4 of the ride targets. The grade 0 being Knight of Integrity Thegrea, having the same skill just like all the other starters. When rode upon, if you went second, draw a card. The grade 1 being Beneath the Brilliant Light Thegrea. When this unit is rode upon by Harsh Training Light Thegrea, reveal the top card of your deck, and if it is a grade 2 or less, you may call that unit to rearguard as rest. So it kind of plays into the same premise, or more like the opposite of Bastion, not being a grade 2 reveal, but still being able to call something out to the field from the deck as rest as a resource. I also run for the grade 2, being Harsh Training Thegrea. When this unit is rode upon by a grade 3 with Thegrea, and its card name, look at the top 5 cards of your deck, choose up to 1 card with Thegrea or Maple, and its card name from among them, reveal it, put it into your hand, and shuffle your deck. So Maple is the grade 2 glitter unit that we run that works with Thegrea. So having that search option with this one when you go into your grade 3, which are grade 3 for the ride deck, being One Who Walks the Path of Light Thegrea. With this card being in the ride deck, and also it was more of a preference of just which Thegrea you wanted to run, but I decided to go with the One Who Walks the Light for the ride deck target. Along with that, we're also running 3 additional copies of Thegrea in the actual main deck as well. The normal ride from hand of a unit with Thegrea in its different card name on the field also becomes a Persona ride. So what this means is you have multiple Thegreas to work with for the Persona ride. If you ride on top of this Thegrea, you have the Persona ride still option viable. And it also works with the other Thegrea as well. This is more of a play, so then on the Vanguard circle, once per turn, you can counterblast 1. Look at the top 5 cards of your deck. Choose up to 1 grade 2 or less unit from among them. Call it to rear and shuffle your deck. If One Who Blooms in the Dark Thegrea is in your soul, you choose 2 instead. So you can have that extra additional setup with this card's skill. And at the end of the battle, this unit attacked. If it was placed by riding from One Who Blooms in the Dark Thegrea this turn, discard a card from your hand, choose 1 rear guard, and stand it. So the restand power also will come up. But what's great about this is you can just utilize the multiple Persona rides with Thegrea having more than just the additional 3 copies along with the ride deck. You have the 7 to work with in your deck. So very, very useful there to get more Persona rides than you normally would in a Vanguard deck. For the other grade 3, also running 4 of the One Who Blooms in the Dark Thegrea. The normal ride from a hand of a unit with Thegrea from this card also becomes a Persona ride. So once again, same premise. If you ride the other Thegrea on top of this one, then you have the Persona ride option active. And on the Vanguard circle, once per turn, you retire 2 of your grade 2 or less rear guards. Choose 1 of your opponent's rear guards and retire it. And if One Who Walks in the Path of Light Thegrea is in your soul, you retire all of your opponent's rear guards in the same column as that unit. So this can be more of like the serious mode Thegrea. This one more with the light, so more on calling units, and this one retires units. So you have both to work with, setting up a field with this Thegrea and then retiring them away to get rid of your opponent's own field. And at the end of the battle, this unit attacked. If this unit was placed by riding from the One Who Walks the Path of Light Thegrea, then you have the option to counterblast 1, discard a card from your hand, and stand this unit. And if you do, it gets drive -1 till end of turn. So the other Thegrea focuses on comrades to fight with as well, while this Thegrea works on just fighting by herself. So it all depends on the playstyle, changing completely with the light and dark. So restanding your Vanguard compared to restanding your rearguard units. And that is it for the grade 3 units. Moving on to the grade 2 units. Ideally, I do want to run 4 of the atrocious Moth Girl Maple. I only have the 3 though. I am looking to get 1 more copy, so I have 1 Drilling Angel as a spot filler for this. From the drop zone, when your grade 3 or greater Vanguard is placed during the ride phase, if you do not have a unit with Maple on its card name, you may call this card to the rear guard. So just a way to always get this card out onto the field. From what I remember in the lore, I believe she was like a rival to Thegrea, so always appearing when Thegrea appears on the Vanguard circle, and her glitter is with Thegrea as well. It's active if you're Vanguard with glitter and Thegrea in its card name. On rear, at the end of the battle, this unit attacked. Soul Blast 1 or more cards. Choose a card from your soul with the same grade as the sum of the grades of the card Soul Blasted for this cost, and put into your hand and shuffle your soul. So with this, actually shuffle your soul. No, you put this unit to your soul. That would have been very, very strange. But being able to then re-add some units to your hand with the same grade as the sum of the card Soul Blasted means you can just add back cards for the Persona ride and play into the playstyle you want to go with that specific Thegrea. It's a very interesting playstyle that Maple just helps to extend with it. For the other grade 2s, I also run 4 of the new Knight of Protective Spear Arthen. With this card, when it's in the front row, all of your rear guards with different card names from this unit cannot be chosen by your opponent's card effect. So another way to protect your own rear guards from being, targeted by those card effects. It would make your opponent have to go after Arthen first. And also, when this unit attacks, if you Persona Road this turn, it gets plus 5,000 until end of turn. So this is also just that power boost that works very, very well, since with the Thegrea deck, you should be Persona riding almost every turn. So you definitely want to have this unit on the rear guard, so you always have that protection and then that power. And being more of a deck that focuses on calling out those grade 2 units, it can definitely pop up, especially when you use your grade 1 Beneath the Brilliant Light Thegrea. And I am also running additionally with the one I ran as a replacement for Maple 3 Drilling Angel. When this unit is placed on rearguard, put a unit card from your drop zone into soul. Look at 3 cards from the top of your deck. Choose up to 1 card with the same card name as the card put into your soul for the cost of the manga and call to rear, and shuffle your deck. So this gives you more of an option for setting up the potential cards in your soul using this card. You don't necessarily have to choose the card from the top of your deck from your soul and call it to rear, but this can also just help to put a Thegrea with the specific name from your drop zone into your soul, meeting those requirements for the one particular one and the other to then have, and then also be able to potentially add back quicker with Maple as well for the Soul Blast. And that's it for the grade 2s. Moving on now to the grade 1s. I run 4 of the new life-saving Angel, Thegrea. From the back row rear guard, when your other unit in the same column as this unit stood from a card effect, you may return this unit to your hand. So this just gives you more of an option when you restand with your With the Light Thegrea to add this card back to your hand for the protection of having it not on the field to be either retired or placed in the prison from your opponent's other cards. And I also run 4 of the Painkiller Angel. We wanted to go for more of a generic lineup that doesn't focus too much on the grade 3s, since the only grade 3s you really want to run in the deck are Thegrea. But with Painkiller Angel on rearguard at the end of the battle, this unit boosted, you can Soul Blast 1, retire this unit, and draw a card. So with the same premise as your life-saving Angel, but more on the lines of just being able to give you draw power. And for the last of the grade 1s, I run 4 Aegis Mare Dragon, just the Sentinel of choice with the deck, being able to guard anything from your opponent and still have the hand consistency to have 1 more in your hand to block that attack. And then for the Sentinel lineup, I'm running the 7 critical, so 4 Blade Feather Dragon, and the 3 Gargants for the pressure with the restand of your rear guard, or even your Vanguard, depending on what you go up against with your opponent, and the specific type of Thegrea. And for the draws, I went over with the draws instead of the fronts, because most of the time, the deck will only restand 1 card when you're with the light Thegrea, but if you're on the dark one, you'll have the restand pressure from your Vanguard, so you want to make sure you have that pressure against your opponent and your own Vanguard to gain power more often, and hand consistency to then draw into your other Persona rides. And then I'm also running 4 of the new heal, which is Invigorate Sage, for the guard protection power against your opponent using this card when they attack with a unit. That restood as well, with the last being the Amartanoa, the trigger that can give your rear guards the drive check as well for that pressure, so very, very useful as the over trigger of choice in the deck as well. But that is it for the deck profile. I hope you all enjoyed the video. Definitely liking how the Thegrea deck is playing. It's a very interesting deck, a different change as well, especially with focusing on the different persona rides that you can do for the deck as a whole, using the 2 different grade 3 names as well. So definitely look into it, aside from the whole, what is it? Excuse me. With that, the fan service of the deck. It definitely is a fun and interesting deck to focus on the different persona rides that you can do for the deck as a whole. And as always, until next time, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, and Kira Qualia out.